this is Irina Blount from La La Land Crafts. Today is day 3 of our Christmas Advent Calendar event. If you missed the day 1 and day 2, just look for the link in the video description. We are doing it a little bit different this year. I'm doing 12 tutorials on our YouTube channel right here first, and then our design team is going to join in on our blog. Along with all of the inspiration and all of the amazing projects that you're going to see from us in this event, we're giving away 3 $50 gift certificates. To enter into the giveaway, we just ask you to please subscribe to our YouTube channel and comment on the videos, and then comment on the blog posts as well. We're going to pick the winners on December 25th, and we're going to announce the winners on our blog. Today we're going to make this festive little gift box, and we're going to use one of our new dies. This is gift card envelope to make it. This little box measures 2.5 by 3 3/4 by 2.5. And I use twine on this one here, but really it has self-contained closure of sorts. So if you just close it like this, it's self-contained. I can't wait to show you how I made it. Let's go ahead and start. I have my cutting and die cutting done. I have cut from one of our newer dies. This one is called gift card envelope. And as you can see, it comes with the main shape. So when you separate the dies, you're going to have one of these guys. And I cut 4 shapes of this. Then this piece right here is a little flap. This is how it looks like when you take it out and you move the little piece from there. And I die cut 4 of those as well. Then I have my 2 deer, and I cut this from gold cardstock, just 1 of each. Then from our snow globe die, I die cut 2 of this design trees. I have 2 of circles, and these are from the nested stitched circles die. From this die, I die cut 2 of these shapes, and this die was designed for kind of all season, for you to be able to use it for different seasons. So we have this shape here is like a wax seal you would see on the old style envelopes or letters. This was the inspiration, and then we have different designs that can be either die cut and layered on top, or can be embossed or debossed into the wax seal shape. So we have the heart, the star, candles, flower, and the Christmas tree. Today we're going to use the Christmas tree, and I'm going to show you how to do it during the tutorial. Then I have some of the layers cut. I have 1 layer of ivory cardstock, 3 3/8 by 3 3/8, and I scored on all 4 sides at 1/2 inch. This will be the bottom of our box. Then for the bottom, I have layer of gold cardstock and layer from the pattern paper. The gold cardstock measures 2 1/8 by 2 1/8, and the pattern paper square is 2 by 2. Then for the sides of our box, I have 4 layers of gold cardstock. It's pretty shiny, and this measures 3 3/8 by 2 1/8, and then 4 layers of designer paper, and this measure 2 by 3 1/4. Then the last thing I have here is the twine, and it's kind of it has texture to it. It looks very rustic, and I thought it would be nice to go with this project. So this is about 50 inches, and then I folded it in half. Designer paper that I'm using on this project is from Merry and Bright paper pack. This is one of our newly released paper packs, and I just love designs in this pack. You can see they all mix and match nicely. So this is the back side of it. Really fun designs and colors. I want to show you how I got all of these layers out of one piece of 6x6 cardstock. Let's do this first. So once again, the size of this is 3 1/4 by 2, and we need 4 sides. I'm going to put my paper in my cutter and cut it at 3 1/4 first. And it doesn't matter which way, this design is not directional. So I'm just gonna cut it at 3 1/4 first. And then this is 6 inches paper. So we're going to cut it at 2, so 4 inches and then 2 inches. So that gives me 3 of the layers. And then I'm going to take the leftover here and cut it again at 3 1/4, and then turn and cut at 2. And then from the piece that we have left, this is where we're going to cut for the bottom of the box, 2 by 2. So as you can see, from one piece of the pattern paper, 6x6 pattern paper, we get all of these layers. I want to show you that once you die cut, these lines right here are actually embossing lines. They are not cut, and this line here on the side, on the flap, is also embossing line. So once you die cut, I just want to show you, once you die cut, I don't know if you can see on the video, there are lines, indication lines where to fold on the pieces, but sometimes they are a little bit too faint for my liking, and this is nothing to do with the die. This is what the type of cardstock I'm using and what kind of pressure I have on my die cutting machine. So if I would do more pressure on the die cutting machine, these lines would be deeper, and then I don't have to do this step. But since they are a little bit too faint for me to fold right now, I'm going to use my scoring board. And one tip I have that would hopefully make it easier for you if you need to do embossing is that the second line, the one on the right side, is actually exactly 3 3/4 measurement. So instead of looking for the line, you can just do it this way and then just turn it to the other side and do 3 3/4 again, and then you would continue on all 4 layers just like this, 3 3/4. Then for our little flaps, the easiest way to do it is to match the top and the bottom of this the kind of corners. And doesn't matter which line you put them on, just put both of the corners on the same line and run over with your embossing or tool, whatever you're using, bone folder or a stylus. If you hear noises on the background, that's our French bulldog Toby. It's kind of like bring your dog to work every day here at Level and Crafts. Now that we got all of these pieces scored, we can fold them on score lines and use our bone folder on both sides, top and the bottom, to make nice and crisp lines. I'm going to do all of the large pieces and all of the flaps as well. Now, before we start assembling our box, I want to show you what this die was designed to work for the actual gift card envelope. So for the envelope, you would just need 1 of these shapes and 2 of the flaps, and you would glue the flaps either on the inside or to the back of the envelope, depending on what you're using it for. If you're using it as a standalone, I would say glue it from the inside. If you're using it to glue this whole thing on your project, like on the card or in the album, you can glue them from the back, and then you would glue the whole thing on. So once you have the flaps on, then you would close one of these sides, and you can see this creates the actual envelope that fits the gift card in there. My sides are not glued, so I'm just holding this flat, but this fits your gift card like that. So this is a really nice size and very versatile die, as you can see. You can also, of course, use just the flaps for different projects, or you can use this just to fold it like this, and then you can slide the gift card inside as well. Next, we're going to glue our designer paper onto the gold layers. And I'm going to use my art glitter dries clear. Next, I'm going to grab the bottom of the box, and this is 3 3/8 by 3 3/8, and we scored at 1/2 inch on each side. And I'm going to cut through the corner where the lines, the score lines intersect. I'm going to cut about 1/4 inch in, and then turn and cut about 1/4 inch on the other side, just like this on all 4 sides. 1/4 inch, turn 1/4 inch. Now we can go ahead and fold the sides. And don't worry if they overlap on top of each other. We are not actually going to glue them down. They're going to be standing up like this inside of the box. So they are not going to actually overlap in the project. So now this is the time for us to grab the twine. I'm going to fold the whole thing in half. It's already folded in half, right? Because I want it to be doubled. So now I'm going to fold it in half again, just kind of find the center. And I'm going to glue it onto the center of our layer. I'm going to grab a few pieces of the double-sided tape and try to center it as much as I can, and then just use this tape to hold it down. And don't go too far with the side pieces, because we have the space here that's going to be open. Now I can remove the backing from the tape. This step is actually completely optional, because this twine is not going to serve to close the box. It's actually more of the decorative piece. So you can use twine, you can use ribbon, or you can skip this step altogether, because we're going to create kind of self-closure on our box. It's such a fun thing to do. I can't wait to show you. So I have this here. Now let's go ahead and add the sides, or the little flaps, into the box sides. So I'm going to grab one piece at a time. I'm going to have it laying down, facing down, and then I'm going to put glue on the flap right here, and attach it to the top of the box. So line up and make sure you are in the side between the scored lines right here. So that's the main thing. And I'm going to do the rest of them just like that. You can use score tape for this step as well, but I just find that it's faster and it's easier to use liquid adhesive because it actually gives you a little bit of the time to move the piece if it needs to be moved a little bit. So now I'm going to show you how to put the box together. So this is the fun part. Now, so what we're going to have some of these rounded flaps on the outside of the box, meeting like this. So the first thing, I'm going to grab 2 pieces, and my one flap is going to go on the outside and another flap from this piece is on the inside. Does it make sense? We're going to put glue on the one that's going to go on the inside. Then you're going to line up right to the fold. Make sure it lines up correctly so it's a straight line here. And you can either put this down like so, or you can bring this piece over and close it. And then the second piece, well, that's the third piece, we're going to have the flap on the inside, overlapping that with the one that we already have. And make sure all of your side flaps are on one side, so you don't want to go this way, so make sure they are all facing either up, whichever way you're doing, or they're all facing down. So now, since I have this here, I'm going to add another one to the inside, just like this. So I can line them up, I can line this up to the fold, put adhesive on this flap right here, and fold this down. Make sure it's nice and even to the fold. And now on our last piece, kind of double check yourself to make sure you know which way the flaps are opening. So the 2 flaps are going to, we have the one open right here, and we're going to have another one open on each side. Like this. So, which means this one is going to be on the inside. So basically they go from one on the inside, one on the outside kind of thing. Once you do it once, it will be very easy to do. So I line it up, and now put an adhesive here. This piece moved a little bit on me, so I'm going to line it up again, and I'm going to go ahead and close it this way. And now, again, I just keep on double checking myself on which way it's gonna go, because I want 2 sides to have the flaps on the outside, 2 opposite sides. So that means this is going to close right here, this way. So I'm going to open it up, put adhesive on this flap here, and then bring this over. And now we have all 4 sides put together. Now before we put the bottom in and close the whole thing, we can actually add 2 of the sides, and I'm going to add them on the plain sides right here. So one on this side, I'm not adding anything right now to the sides with the flaps, so I can The reason I want to do it now because it is, you can actually kind of have it flat, so it's easier to add the sides on. So make sure it's the flat one, and you know which one you are gluing this you're gluing this gold with pattern paper. So I'm going to put one here and one on the opposite side. So here is my second side without the side flaps. I just adore this paper. This red plaid is just so festive and kind of old-time vintage kind of look. We can also add the embellishments. So what I have here, I have the circle, I have my deer, and I have the Christmas tree. So this is the way I decided I'm going to have them on my box. So the tree is going to go under, and then the circle and the deer. And I'm putting it to the top of on the top to the fold right there, and kind of to the side of my printed paper. Then I'm going to add the circle about 1/2 inch from the bottom. I really love how this cream color circle that is the same color as our box offsets the die cuts, so kind of separates and makes it the focal point. Now I'm going to add my deer, and I'm going to put him almost on the bottom of my printed paper there. Just give it a little bit of the space. Just adding a little bit of the glue all over his antlers. And then on the other side, we're going to do the same way, but now we have a lady deer. So we're going to have the tree on the other side, because she is facing this way. This simple design can also be used on the tags to make quick tags. Just pretty, just so pretty. Okay, so now we are going to put the bottom. And we need to make sure that the parts where the sides, where our twine comes out, is facing these sides of the box that have the flaps still open. So you can kind of dry fit it first to see how it goes in. And then I'm going to take it out, and I'm going to use liquid glue on all 4 sides. And then we're simply going to slide this bottom piece into our box. And again, I'm going to double check to make sure that my twine sides are facing my open areas. So this is going on each side, and then just squeeze the sides in and push them inside, and it sits right onto the bottom of our box. You can go from the inside and just kind of reach, maybe if you have a longer one, I'm gonna try to reach there to press the sides onto the box. So now we have this twine on each side, and we are going to have it going on to the top of the box like this. So we can use our double-sided tape again just to hold it in place. So I'm going to try to center it, and I'm going to put a piece of the tape to hold it. Now once I have this done, I can remove the backing of this tape and grab one of my sides, put glue on it, and we're going to glue it right here. Center it like so. And I have my hand on the inside, and then I'm pressing into my hand. And we're going to do the same way on the other side. So just bring twine up, little piece of tape just to hold it in place. Remove the backing from the tape and glue this on. Now, this is how our box is going to close. And this is why I said you don't really need to have the twine or the ribbon. If you alternate these sides, so do one at a time, following, I'm going into the clockwise. You can go other way, but just one at a time. So 1, 2, 3, and number 4, I'm going to lift my first one and tuck this in and see how it closes on its own. So you really don't need to use the twine, but if you are using it, then you can also make this a little more festive, especially for Christmas, and you can tie a bow on here. The last thing we have is to add our little pieces to close these sides. I have my crossover machine. This is my preferred machine right now for die cutting, embossing, for everything that I'm doing with the dies, and if I'm embossing with stencils. This machine is actually available on our website. So if you go to lalalandcrafts.com, just click on crossover category tab there, and you can see the information. The reason I'm in love with this machine is because I don't ever need to use any shims. I don't need to change the plates. I only need to change the dial to the type of cutting or die cutting or embossing I'm doing. So when I cut, I usually have it on 6 or 7, depending on the die, if it's simple die or if it has a lot of detail. And then for embossing, I usually set it on 10 or 11, again depending on what kind of material you're using. Now I have my base plate, I have my metal plate, and for embossing I have the rubber mat. I have these 2 shapes, but we already have die cut from gold cardstock, and these are from the envelope die, and these are like wax seals, and I'm going to use the one with the Christmas tree design because we're making a Christmas project, but it depends on what kind of project you're using. You can use different designs there. You can use a star, you can use candles, heart. There are quite a few different designs for different occasions. And I'm going to run it through my machine. And what it does, it creates a debossing. So look at this. Doesn't that look, almost looks like actual wax seal? So this is flat and this is with debossing. I'm going to do the second one exactly the same way. Now, once again, you have some options. So if you want to just use this as a decorative kind of piece, if you're not going to do anything else with it, you can just glue the flaps together and then glue your wax peel piece on top of it for decoration. If you would like to keep this area as a pocket, if you want to say put a gift card in there or a little tag or just a little folded note of sorts, or even a picture or photograph, you can use this as a pocket. So what I would say, if you are using it as a pocket, have something, a few layers of cardstock or actual like gift card before you close it, because this will give you this actual spacing that you'll need to slide tag or whatever you're putting in there easier. So I'm going to have this laying down and I'm going to just add adhesive onto the back of one of my wax seals. And then I'm going to hold this in place and have my wax seal somewhere in the center, and just hold it for a little bit. Make sure that the glue kind of dries before you start moving it. So you can see it created quite an opening here, and now you can easily slide the gift card in and out. And but it's easy to slide it, but it stays there. It doesn't move actually, right? So it's pretty tight, so you're not going to lose it. And then we're going to do the same on the other side. And now our box is completed. It fits quite, you know, it's not tiny, so you can definitely fit gifts, or you can put candy in here. You can still drop a gift card or cash. Cash is always good. And if you have a small gift. And then once again, this is how it closes. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Leave the first one and slide the number 4 in. This is the box right here. If you have a ribbon, wider ribbon, you can use that. You can add little jingle bells if you wanted to the sides of your ribbon to make it even more festive. But look how adorable that looks. Isn't it just so pretty? Now I wanted to show you, first I made this type of box at our annual craft retreat, at the La La Land Crafts Retreat, and I made it as a birthday box. So as you can see, I did not use the ribbon on here, so just self-closing, but it's made exactly the same way as what we did on this box right here, on our Christmas box. I used 3 candles die, and this is die cut right here is called Happy Present. So if you would like to do something like that, you can look in our online store for this alternative dies. On here, as you can see, instead of debossing into the wax seal, I die cut the piece from the cream cardstock and glued it on top. And I have the openings here too. I quite like having the openings because it gives you another option. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Now don't forget to subscribe to our channel and comment on each video. This is day 3 today, in order to be entered into the giveaway for one of 3 $50 gift certificates. Well, this is all for me for today. I'll see you tomorrow for day 4. Bye for now. Much love.